Chess friends, today I faced off against the world's top players Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura, in a rapid chess game. Magnus renowned for his positional play and Hikaru, known for his speed. Can they together defeat me in chess? The rule of the game is, Magnus and Hikaru can choose their moves, and AlphaZero will select the best move and they can discuss with each other. Let's get started. I opened the game with e4, they chose to play Sicilian defense. You can go with Alapin, knight c3 d4 or knight f3 line. There is an amazing chess opening trick starts with knight f3, d5 d4 open variation of Sicilian, knight f6 to target it, knight c3 a6 to protect the important square, bishop to g5, e5 and this is called Najdorf defense. Then play f4, knight here queen f3 queen here castle, b5 to advance the queen side, bishop d3 queen b6 to target the knight. Engine shows that white can sacrifice the knight on e6 but we will choose another tactic rook e1, sacrificing the knight on d4, e5 to target this and this, knight d5 knight takes knight. If you capture the knight with the queen, then after takes, black position will be dead lost, and in this position, you can't capture the knight with pawn because e takes d6 will fall you in great danger, so black plays queen to a7 in order to protect that square, play f3, pawn can't capture because of the same reason. Also, the black can't capture the knight, so if you play knight takes pawn, everything looks defended but will strike black by sacrificing the rook, d takes e5 and we will sacrifice our another material. Yes, you are right, the bishop. Black has to capture the bishop. Then we will sacrifice the knight on c7, black has to capture it. The rook and bishop collaborate in attacking d8 which is why we will sacrifice the most beautiful piece, the queen, takes and it will be a checkmate in d8. Attitude is the little thing that makes a big difference. So back to our position, I played knight c3, Hikaru and Magnus choose to play g6, closed Sicilian, d4, and they decided to play bishop g7, d takes pawn queen a5 to target the knight with two pieces and the pawn which is why you can't protect the pawn with bishop e3, bishop ups takes knight d5, capturing the pawn isn't the best, let me show you why, rook b1 to get the file, bishop d4 bishop b4, bishop takes check king e2 and the black queen is under attack to queen d4 by black, but we will play bishop c3 to lasering the rook, queen takes d1 takes bishop runaway bishop takes rook and that's it, you will lose the rook and the game is totally in my hand. Once you face your fear, nothing is ever as hard as you think, so back to the position, Magnus and his brother Hikaru decided to play knight a6, knight f3 and the knight is very annoying for black right. So they played e6, I recounter them with bishop e3, Magnus want to play queen a5 and Hikaru wants to play queen f8, AlphaZero selected the queen a5 move because it is the best move, bishop d2 queen c5, b4. Queen d6 bishop to f4 to target the queen, Magnus want to push the pawn, but it is not the best move, let me show you why, bishop g5 to seize the diagonal where knight f6 can come to attack to the queen and king. And if you dare to move back the queen then after bishop takes knight, knight c7 will fork up your rook and king, so black plays queen b8 to protect that square, bishop to c4 to get active on this diagonal, the bishop pair is in their full potential, h6 bishop, back to e3, b5 to consider queen side development, bishop back to b3 bishop b7 and after a sequences of moves both side played castle, rook takes a7 rook takes rook b6, queen d8 takes knight takes pawn and that's it, white have two connected pass pawns and he have plus 3.5 advantages for this position. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work, so back to our current game, we have queen back to f8 bishop takes knight, threatening knight c7 fork, so knight captures castle and here black can choose different types of move, let me show you the variations one by one, queen takes pawn is the best move, but after rook b1 queen c5 queen takes pawn takes rook e1 check, king can't run there because bishop d6 can checkmate him, so king d8 d6. Locking the king in a golden cage, knight f6 knight e5 to forking the rook and king, rook f8 bishop re-rotates on d2 to play a5 check, if you play knight d5 to protect it then after check knight here, we will sacrifice the rook, takes check here knight d3 and that's it, game is over for black. Don't sit down and wait for the opportunities to come. Get up and make them. So in this position, Magnus wants to capture the rook, Hikaru wants pawn takes bishop. Let me show you the variation what will happen if you capture the bishop. Queen takes d5 to target the rook and the rook can't escape from there, so after takes, the bishop is under attack, so knight e7 rook takes a1, and that's it. Both sides have equal pieces, but black's pieces are so passive. The king is in middle of the board and black have no good structure to defend his position. My pieces can checkmate black in 30 to 50 moves, so back to the position. Magnus played bishop takes rook, queen takes a1 to take the rook, f6 bishop to d3. Magnus is confused what should he play, so Hikaru makes an excellent move, pawn takes e4, bishop takes pawn, and Magnus captured the pawn. But what about your king's safety? Even grandmasters appear inferior compared to Stockfish. Rook e1 king ups, bishop p5 check, king g7 rook e4, so queen back to c5, c4 to consider h4 h5, or I can move the knight on g5 or d4 as needed, queen to b4 bishop d2, queen here rook e8, getting the 8th rank to pinning the 4 pieces, a5 knight g5 to consider knight e4 to target the pawn, rook up to a6 to protect the pawn. So wish you all the best, thanks for watching, subscribe for more, bye bye, take care, see you soon.